Hey, you're watching Down the Road Show here at Comic Con in Ventura, not in San Diego.
Thanks for checking in with Down the Road Show. I am here with Vernon G Wells. You may recognize him from some great 80s movies like Road Warrior and Weird Science, two of my personal favorites. But why I'm here to talk to him today, first and foremost, is this awesome foundation he's a huge part of called wolfconnection.org. Tell everybody what this is about. I love this whole concept.
It's basically a wolf-dog rescue. In California, they have a policy towards wolf dogs, which means if they're given to a shelter, they're usually euthanized very, very quickly. And once they go into a shelter, they can't be taken out. So we try to rescue the dogs because people buy wolf hybrids, and they're cute, cuddly little dogs. And they grow up to be 120 pound, 130 pound, and they tend to eat the furniture in most of your house if they're left alone. They're pack animals. They love being with their own pack. They make you their pack. And so people can't control them. They tend to chain them to fences, to trees and things. And all that does is make the animal more and more uncontrollable. So eventually they get to the point where they go, oh, well, I'm just taking him to the pound. The minute it goes to the pound, it's a dead dog, which is really a shame because they are some of the most beautiful animals. They have wolfy instincts, they have dog instincts, they are incredibly gentle, incredibly intelligent, and so we've got a organization that rescues them. People ring us if they've got a dog that they need to, for all kinds of circumstances, put up for adoption, and we go and get it and bring it to our compound. We've got 27 there at the moment, all different shapes and sizes, all different degrees of how much wolf is in them. But they're beautiful dogs, and we use them in our work with, they're all trained.
And this is what makes you guys different than other compounds out there.
Yeah, most people just take them and God bless their little cotton socks. They take the dogs and they have wonderful rescue apparatus, but they put them in packs. And so they become a pack of wolf dogs or wolves, which is great, but you also get the problems of pack mentality where there has to be a leader and then there's followers and so on, which is how they are in the wild, admittedly. But we didn't want to do that. What we wanted to do was use the dogs to teach people that wolves are not what we think they are not how they're portrayed in movies, and not the way we see people portray them every day on television, and these people that go out killing them for no good reason. We wanted to get away from that. We wanted people to understand what these animals are and how amazing they are to be around. So our focus was on leash training, getting them to walk on the leash, and then using them in programs as program animals.
This is my favorite part right here.
We take them to schools where the kids get to see them, get to be around them, and get to know that they're not these vicious animals that are going to eat them. They're used with recovering alcoholic and drug addicts in their recovery because wolves have a special bond with man. Wolves are the original animal. Every other dog is bred from a wolf. So there's a special bond there, and they were the first animal that man brought into his small circle and made them a friend and a pet. They worked with them, they did all these things. So there is that bond between us. And they help you in respect to the fact that they are like us. Wolf dogs and wolves go through hell. Yet they always seem to be able to come out the other end of it with a real good attitude. They don't keep hate. They don't stand around going, oh, you kicked me yesterday, so I'm going to bite you on the butt today. They're more inclined to forgive and forget and want to move on. And that's the message that goes to these people. You've got to move on. You've got to keep going. You can't surrender to whatever it is that your problem is. Returning vets, we work with them with their social issues, with their mind issues because of what they've gone through, what they've seen.
War is hell.
Yep, they work with the dogs. And then there's the kids, which is our main focus. They have social programs for the kids that have gone through foster homes, many of them through many foster homes. They're totally broken and bent. They're like, a good quote that was told to me was that they're broken dolls. They have mental problems, they have social problems, they have all kinds of problems. They're in school, but they're not really functioning. They're close to being thrown out. They've gone to special schools. And once you go through that and there's nowhere else for you to go, it's basically on the streets. Gangs, drugs, jail, or dead. It's a very simple thing. So we have them come up to the compound and they work with the dogs.
And you guys have seen a lot of success rate from this.
We've had some amazing success rate. I'll read you a little quote that's in our brochure. It's from a kid that finished one of the courses, and he says, "Wolf Connection has given me hope and the tools and desire to try and make my life better, despite my past. If the wolf dogs are able to move forward, so am I. I feel happy with who I am now."
That's cool.
That's from a kid who was probably would have taken you outside and kicked the crap out of you. They learn very fast that when they're working with the dogs, that the dogs don't have all of this baggage that we carry. They leave it behind. They move forward. They forget all of that. Otherwise, they could never survive in the wild. That's the whole point. If you carried all this crap around with you, you'd be pretty dead pretty quick. So they instill in these kids the desire to move forward. They learn that you can't survive on your own. You have to work within the framework of what society gives you, and for a wolf, it's a pack. Everybody has a job to do. Everybody does that job. Everybody succeeds. You just get one person that can't do the job, that brings the whole team down. So this is what they're taught. This is what happens when we go to any of the courses, whether it's for the recovering drug addicts, whether it's for the return servicemen, or whether it's for the kids. It's that you can't succeed on your own. You have to move forward. You have to work within the framework of what's there. And wolves are just the most amazing animals. I have a little 10-pound Chihuahua whose best friend is
I already saw the video.
a 97-pound black wolf dog.
Playing on the beach together.
Yep.
Hilarious.
Love each other. We take them up to the snow. They love the snow. They're the best of friends. And it's quite intriguing to watch my little dog boss around this big wolf dog. And if she comes to our house and Eddie decides she's not coming in, he just stands at the door and he just looks at her and she goes, "Cool, dude. I'll stay in the backyard. You stay in there." And it's really fun to watch this interaction between them. This very, very small animal in total control of this very, very big animal who could, that quick, finish him. But she has no desire to do it. So they are amazing animals, and it takes people 20 seconds to change their attitude from being, "Oh, I'm scared, I don't want to go near them," to we have to peel them off, the animals, because they just won't let them go. They want their photos taken with them, they want to cuddle them. It's what we crave, and that is love. It's what they crave, and that is love. They just want to be accepted. They're very shy. They will accept you. You cannot accept them. That's the one thing that people don't understand about wolves and these kind of animals. You can't walk up to them, expect them to be, "Oh, hi, you're the really nice person." They will come to you. They will accept you. And if they don't, then that's the way it is. You know, there's nothing you can do about it. The director of Wolf Connection has two of the wolves that we have who cannot have him in their compound. They do not like him. Nobody knows why. They just do not like to be around him. And yet the other 23 think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But it's the personalities of the animals. They will accept you. They look into your eyes and they look into your soul and they instantly decide whether you are worth the time and energy they will expend to be your friend.
Like you were telling me last night, they're much more than animals.
Oh,
I mean, they have souls, and you were telling me about that conference you went to with all the holy women from around the world.
Yeah.
That's an amazing story.
That every 2 years, I believe, they have a conclave of grandmothers, which are grandmothers from all different ethnic groups. They are from Japan, from Asia, all through Asia and Japan, from North America, from Canada.
Worldwide.
All different tribes, and they come together and they ride the Trail of Tears. And at the end of the Trail of Tears, they have this big conclave where they pray, they do all the native things to try and find ways to heal the earth for all the damage we're doing. And it's an amazing, interesting thing. We were asked 2 years ago to bring 5 of the wolves. First time anybody had ever asked for that to happen, and we took the wolves up to Colorado and met them 100 miles from the end of their journey, and we're going to go the last 100 miles with them. And when we arrived, the wolves were very antsy because they'd been in cages, they'd been in trucks.
Traveling.
We were going through states where their law is you can shoot a wolf on sight. You know, it was not like everybody was like me. Everybody was a little edgy, and the wolves were a little edgy. And the grandmother said we'd like to see meet the wolves. And Taya was like, well, maybe tomorrow, possibly at the moment it's not a good time because they need to relax and they need to decompress. And they said, no, we want to see them now. And so they brought the 5 wolves out, and the grandmothers were in a half circle. And they walked them in, and they were very antsy coming in. They were like pulling at their leads, they weren't happy. And they walked them in, and as they came into the circle, they all prayed and thanked them for being there and told them how grateful they were for their companionship and who they were. And all the wolves laid down on the ground, and all of their energy changed instantly to just being so relaxed, so calm, so happy to be there. They went the final 100 miles to the end of the Trail of Tears to the conclave, and in a big arena with around 2,000 people, the grandmothers rode in, and the 5 wolves walked in beside the horses with 2,000 people cheering and clapping.
Calm as a cucumber.
As calm as a cucumber. For those animals to do that is, number one, amazing. Because number one, for a wolf, a horse is probably prime steak. and a horse is totally terrified of a wolf. And yet, side by side, calm as a cucumber. They walked in, they did their lap and the whole thing, and everybody stood up and cheered and loved it and thought it was the most wonderful thing. And what this whole thing leads up to is that in October, around the 23rd of October,
we'll be there to show it all to you guys.
We're doing a function. We're trying to raise money because we're having difficulties with the council where we are with the dogs, and we've got to buy another property, so we're trying to raise money to do that. Otherwise, they're threatening to take the dogs off us and euthanize them, which we will not let happen.
So we need your guys' help.
Yes, we need to put this together, and I mean, you could either come to the event or you could donate. If you go to wolfconnection.org.
Right here at the bottom.
It's right there, wolfconnection.org. You can get all the information about where the event is taking place, all the information about how to help us and donate. You can go on to our mailing list. We can let you know what's happening. And it's just,
And spread the word, please. Twitter, Facebook, Google+, all the social medias, spread it out there. This deserves your attention and everybody else's attention.
Yeah, we're just trying to get people to help, like they've saved us through millennia. We're trying to save them now.
Yeah, they're doing great things, and wolves are getting a bum rap, so it's about time we as humans step up and do something together. So together we can all accomplish great things.
Yep, and they'll be there to help us.
Well, let's talk some shop.
Yes.
Go help them out. So I just found this out from you this weekend. You are a professional Australian football player. That's tough. I don't know if you guys know anything about that. That's one of the toughest sports on the planet right there. How did that help with once you were telling me about this last night? Tell them you were doing that, and then you got your first acting gig.
Yeah, I was never really interested in being an actor ever. My mother was a very successful songwriter, and I sort of followed on in her footsteps. I went into bands. I was vocalist in bands. I was vocalist in a supergroup in Australia, and that was where I was content to be. That was my life. I was a happy rock and roll, drug, sex, rock and roll, you know. And then I was involved in a bad accident, and
was that your mom's frying pan?
No. That was way after my mother and the frying pan, which is another sad story. No, I was in a car and was involved in an accident, and I had a couple of vertebrae in my back shattered, so I was unable to work with the group. And I was off for like 5 months recuperating and from what they had to do to me, and I was becoming a total pain in the butt to our manager. Me be a pain. Oh, couldn't see it. So he went around to all the advertising agencies with my photograph, and one of the agencies said, "Well, we're looking for a big guy to do a series of commercials for cigarettes." So I was like, "Okay, I don't care." So I started being a model, which lasted about 8 months.
Wait. So you were the Australian Marlboro Man, basically?
Yeah, kind of.
That's so awesome.
And I was totally bored after 8 months of standing around being told to smile, do this, do that. And I hated it. But I was always behind the camera if they were doing stuff, because I loved watching. And I got to do some commercials from that with one of Australia's top commercial directors, God rest his soul, with Michael. And then Michael decided that he would hire me to be his assistant, which got me into the business. I was now behind the camera where I wanted to be. I didn't want to be in front of it. And I was doing all these commercials and working with him, and eventually I began to direct commercials after he thought I had learned enough to where I could handle what I was doing. And from that, I kind of did the reverse. I started behind the camera and slowly moved around in front of it, because people would ask me to do a commercial, or I would get cast in a little TV thing. Nothing dramatic, nothing big. And then I got asked to do a stage play, which I didn't want to do, and I kept postponing it. And eventually, my agent said, "Look, I really, really want you to do this because I think it would be wonderful for you." So I took on the show. It played for 4.5 months to full houses, which was amazing. And while I was doing it, George Miller's girlfriend, Sandy Gore, or his girlfriend at that stage, Sandy Gore, saw me and suggested to George that I would be perfect for Mad Max. And he came down
and he was right.
And had a chat. And, as they say in the classics, that was it. I got cast into The Road Warrior, did the film.
Awesome.
Then went back to directing. I didn't have that I must be a star type attitude. I was quite happy with what I was doing. Joel Silver tried to get me to come to America to do Weird Science because they wanted me to send up the character. I didn't want to go. Once again, yada, yada, yada. Eventually, I left and came to the States for Weird Science, did Weird Science. While I was here, I got to see the director for his next film, Joel's next film, which was Commando, with Arnold, whatever his name was. I had no idea who he was. Couldn't even pronounce his name, let alone know who he was. And the director he thought that I would be too Mad Max-ish, didn't want me. Long story short, after they had begun production, things didn't go well with the gentleman they'd cast in the role, and I got a phone call in Australia and got flown to the States to take over the role in Commando, and as luck would have it, I haven't been able to earn enough money to go home since. So I'm still here.
Nice. Do you still sing? Do you still play? Do you still write music? Or is it strictly karaoke these days?
Not even karaoke. You know, people try to talk me into doing stuff with bands all the time, and it's like, you know, been there, done that. I did one show in New York. They had this big show in New York, which I worked with one of the top bands there, and I did about a 20-minute set, which was the last thing I ever did. It was in this huge club they have in New York. I cannot even remember the name of it. It's like 5 stories in this building way down near the docks, but apparently the biggest club around. And I did it there and did the show, and that was like my swan song. I said I would do it as my last on-stage performance, and I did that, and I haven't regretted not being on stage singing. You know, I think we all do things through our life, and then we move from that into something else. And you know, singing and being on stage is like acting, because you have to put a performance on, you have to act. You have to be out there doing the show. So I think that's what sort of helped me doing what I do now as an actor. And, you know, I never really wanted to be an actor. I got involved in it, and it took a long time for me to actually realize that being an actor is harder than all the crap that people put out about it. It's like, yeah, you're an actor, yippee. But being a good actor is extraordinarily difficult, because there are so many things that you have to understand to be able to do it. It's not just a matter of learning words, walking on in front of a camera and delivering them. Sure, if you're 18 years old and got incredibly large breasts and you're blonde, long legs, you know what? You don't even have to say the words.
Or talk half the time.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not 21. I don't have extraordinarily large boobs, and I'm not blonde. So, you know, I actually had to be a good actor. And thankfully, I've either managed to fool a lot of people for a long time, or I've actually got it down now. So
Your IMDb list is huge. Have you gone back to the stage, though, since?
I haven't. The funny thing is that I keep saying I want to do a stage play, and people will keep asking me if I want to, but then I realize that to do a good stage play, it's a 6-month commitment, and I keep getting movies, and it's like, well...
Work gets in the way of work.
Yeah, it's like, well, if I'm going to do a stage play and be paid the minimum to do it, and I'm going to be asked to do a film and do it in 3 weeks and get a heck of a lot more money, it's like, you know, you got to pay the bills, as they say.
Kind of easy math.
Yeah, so you have to sometimes forgo what you love for the reality of being able to support those that you love. And it's, you know, it's fun. I enjoy what I do. Don't get me wrong, I have a ball being an actor now. I love it. Being on the set is like a drug. Every time I'm not on the set, I'm withdrawn. I'm a total little shit to be around. Being around people that are in the business, it's what I thrive on. Being on the set working is what I thrive on. It's just the way it is, you know. You get this bug under your skin, it ain't coming out.
It's true.
It ain't coming out.
I got all kinds of bugs. Creepy, crawly bugs.
And you meet a lot of great people, you know, you do. You meet really cool dudes that become friends.
Well, I love these cons.
Yeah. And well, I love the cons because you meet all your fans, good, bad, and ugly, but you meet them. And I mean, they come up with some of the most amazing things.
Oh, I heard some great stories last night, and I've already got to witness a few today over there with Mark earlier. Hilarious. Western X.
Good God, a long time. How are you, sir?
You were looking like you've never aged a day. What happened?
I have a photograph in someone's...
Aging? You and Brink both.
Yes, see?
You know what?
Up the top, and it's AG.
Nice. I need that. Too many.
I know, yes. My pleasure. See what I mean?
Yeah, there you go. You never know who's going to stop by at a con, but
it's fun.
So, with the downfall of Western civilization's public television, everything's going to the internet these days.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Western X, because I'm already a fan of Western X. I've seen all the episodes. A lot of fun, sci-fi, wizardry, magic, and Western all rolled into one web series.
It's fun. It's actually an interesting concept because it's a sci-fi Western. The guy that creates it, writes it, directs most of it, Michael, is. The first time I met him, I told him I hated him because he's like 32 years old. It's like son of a, but incredibly intelligent. It does the most amazing show. If you want to see something that's totally out of the box, it's westernxtheshow.com. And I was fortunate, they were looking for 12 months apparently for a character, someone to play the character of the general, who is, the basis, the premise of it is the world has never gone past the West. It's all like, that's how it was. It's not our world, it could be an alternative world, we're never really told. But it's divided into these fiefdoms, basically. And families called the generals rule it. It goes from father to son to father to son. And they control these huge areas. Religion has been outlawed, gatherings of people have been outlawed, the populace is basically subjugated to do what they're told. If they step out of line, they're in deep trouble. The police force of the whole thing are called the Black Coats. That's who the general controls. That's his army, that's his people, and they're very ruthless. And slowly, religion is coming back in like the outer reaches of the area, because the inner sanctum is where all the upper class, where the people live. And then as you get out further and further, you get to the outlaws, to the
scary places.
people that aren't the nicest. And religion is making a comeback. It's called the New Catholic Order, NCO. And what happens is that this guy wakes up in the middle of all these bodies after a gunfight, has no idea who he is, and sets out to find out what happened, how he got there, and who he is. And he comes out of the desert, and the NCO is preaching about a savior coming to save from what they're under, this tyranny they're under. And of course he wanders out of the desert, and they're all like, he's here. And he's like, well, I'm sorry, I'm not your savior, I'm just trying to figure out who I am, and I don't even know my name. So he becomes X, the X Factor, the beginning and the end. And the series is basically about him trying to discover who he is, and my rule trying to keep everything calm and quiet. And I said to Michael one day, I said, so when do X and I kind of get together and rumble? And he said, never. He said, because if ever you two meet in a show, then the series is finished, because one of you have to die, and you're both the show. So you can't ever meet, but you can cross paths and you can be seen. So
I can't believe you just spoiled that for me this whole time. I've been waiting for you two to.
never gonna happen.
I guess I'm done watching it.
But it is a beautifully shot and
It's
really
beautiful.
cool.
Some great graphics going on. A lot of mystery. Yeah, very well put together.
It's a cool show.
It's a lot of fun.
They've won like 9 awards so far for it.
Exactly. They're getting all kind of acclaim for it. People are watching it, talk about it, share it. But most importantly, go to wolfconnection.org. Make sure you share this video. Go to their website and see how you can help the wolf dogs of California. We don't want to see them get euthanized for no reason, just because of misunderstanding. That's ridiculous.
That would be the most wonderful thing he could do. And God will give many blessings upon you for helping one of his creatures. That's me, by the way, I'm one of his creatures.
Yeah. The general will also give you some many blessings too.
Yeah.
Thanks for checking in on the Down the Road show. Here with Vernon G Wells. We are at C4 Central Coast Comic Con in Ventura at the fairgrounds. Thank you, WTF Events, for having us out here. It's been a fun weekend. Thank you, Vernon. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, sir.
All right, and we'll see you in October at the Wolf Connection event.
October 23rd on the red carpet.
Make sure you check Down the Road show for all that footage. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you.